In Lesson 3 of the first unit in Grade 8 English Language Arts, we're going to be reading a poem by Brian Lee titled Empty Fears. Now look at those characters at the top. They look a little bit frightened. Hopefully they make you interested in what the poem might be about. On the first page here, you're going to be doing some brainstorming. That's just getting your ideas coming to mind, thinking of ideas and possibilities, using a thesaurus here, and working on some vocabulary. On page 2, again, before we reading, we're just getting our tone set, and we're answering these questions to our mind and doing a quick write in a journal with a very informal evaluation. This page will instruct you to listen to the recording of the poem, and actually there's a first recording about mental imaging. You can listen to both of them, and as you'll read in the instructions, you're going to want to have pen and paper handy, because you're going to be asked to sketch maybe your favorite part, or just sketch any part that comes to mind as you're reading. On page 4 here, you're going to get into a poetry analysis lesson, and that's something that we're going to do. It could even be once even every unit, where we really dig deeper into the poem, not just read it for enjoyment, but read it more deeply and think about the author's craft and what the author did in order to make the poem exciting and meaningful to the reader. After that, you'll get into writing your first bigger piece, a personal narrative in this case. And the instructions are very clear, I hope. You're going to go through the whole writing process, and you'll have to use your resource lines text. That book is something you'll want to have by your side every time you're sitting down to do your English lessons, because there's all sorts of good information in there about things you might have questions on, whether it be the vocabulary we're using or how to do something. Take a good look through that resource and see what's there. So here it teaches you about rafts, which is again something you will be using throughout the course, and the explanation is there. It's an acronym that stands for role, audience, format, topic, and a strong verb when you're doing a writing assignment. Page 7 takes you through the steps of what you need to do before you write: the first draft, revising, editing, proofreading, and presenting. On this page, you're offered a way to differentiate the learning and the assignment. If you can't think of a particular event, you can write about the one that's there. We don't always give you a way to differentiate, but this time we've made a suggestion. And if you recall, in the introductory pages of the whole course, we gave you ways you can do it at any time that you feel it's necessary. And then we talk about a holistic rubric for written prose. That's one that you can use it's for any kind of writing that you do. It's not targeted specifically. Some of the rubrics will be targeted specifically to what you've taught, and this time we just chose to use this one. And again, an extension you can choose to use or not. And then we've provided the editing and proofreading checklists so that you can use these when you're going through the process. You may want to print these off and have them at the beginning of the writing section in your binders so that they're always there, ready to be used. A revision checklist. There's a sample of the writing process assessment checklist. Are you doing all of the steps of the writing process? And here's the rubric that you can evaluate your work on. And again, the checklist of activities at the end with the goal setting and the optional extensions that you may choose from. I think you'll really enjoy this poem, and it'll bring some memories to mind of you. I'm sure that we've all been through this kind of situation in our lives.